Ladies and gentlemen, as you're all probably well aware, there's been some news when it comes to Wuthering Waves. Alongside the release of the new character and her kit, alongside her weapon details, we've also got her combat showcase. And there's something that really stands out in general about this combat showcase, because it's almost a whole 2 goddamn minutes. It's almost the same size as like some of the Sentinel Resonators combat showcases, and well, we haven't really had a deep, intimate look at this character's kit outside from the live stream. So I thought this would be a good idea over here, just to like sort of lead us into, you know, the rest of Wuthering Waves 3.6. We dedicate some special time over here to give this react a bit of extra time in the spotlight, because as you can see over here, there's some important lore tidbits, some additional characters showing up that we're likely going to be seeing in our actual Resonator showcase a bit later on. And I think that this is probably one of the better things that they're doing for the sort of like underlying lore of the game. So let's go ahead, let's break this one all down, see what this one's all about, and don't worry, we'll be covering the kit in a future video. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, this one's already starting off a lot better than some of the previous ones. Yeah, for combat showcases in general, I really do like when they get into actual combat at the beginning. And yeah, compared to like the Soy Soy one that we had before, where she was kind of doing like a whole lot of nothing, I think this is pretty badass. And the fact that she's just like fighting a 4-cost Echo like this, well, that's pretty badass too, isn't it? I didn't even know the Impermanence Heron was in Zhuangfang. I thought this was like a Jinzhou only thing. So it's kind of like cool for like the underlying lore of the game, right? To see some of the old 1.0 Echoes. I think you actually had like the little herons too. To see all the old 1.0 Echoes in this 3.6 showcase. I think that's neat.
Death be gone. Break all shackles.
And if you guys are sort of like wondering a bit more about like the VA, she might sound a bit familiar, right? She might sound like somebody you've heard before if you've played one of the best games that got released, I think last year. And that one's going to be Claire Expedition 33. Yeah, it's Kirsty Ryder. She voices like Lune, I think, like the foot girl. You know what I'm talking about? Like she's got no shoes on all the time. Like she got like bare feet out. Yeah, like the foot girl. Yeah, she voices her. So yeah, that's why she sounds like British.
Catch the wind.
Okay, all right. They're just starting off with the sword flying. This is the part over here that I'm like really curious about when it comes to her kit. Like, is this just going to be worse than the motorcycle, or is it actually going to be better? Because I viewed this part as like Giga cosmetic. They just wanted like that one sequence from Where Winds Meet, but like it wasn't actually meant to be used anywhere. Yeah, we'll see about this one, but it's a cool intro to the fight.
Slim.
All right. One thing I will say is it's nice that she at least uses her sword in combat, because definitely when she enters her enhanced state, that's all like not happening anymore.
Breach.
And this is her enhanced state. Yeah, she basically sort of, I think the best way that I could like sort of think about this is that she kind of becomes a bit like Jinxie here. But I think this is the part that's obviously a bit more apparent about her kit. It looks like she's got more iframes than Jinxie, though.
Imperial verdict.
Yeah, no, she kind of just seems like she's in the air all the time. And as you can see, she's sort of like motioning all of her swords and stuff.
One with the sword.
Okay. Wait. Ooh. Oh, I think that's something we weren't paying that much attention to. Look at her hair color and her eyes.
One with the sword.
Yeah, no, it changes. It changes. She gets some slight visual updates. I get what they're doing. I kind of wish they did more. Because, like, I could get the issue with them making her hair like completely white or something like that. But I don't know. It's just like the fact that it got slightly paler is like a little weird. It felt like it felt like there should have been like a bigger shift.
Shattering tunes. Rising steel.
That's definitely not her ult though. This is definitely not her ult. I think it's one of her. I think it's one of like her big cinematic moves. A little bit like an Ibith one. Yeah, it's her forte. Boy, now we got this.
Swords.
It's all right. You know what? It's just all right. The tacit mark reveal is just all right. The one thing about her character that I felt like was always a little bit out of place is like the instrument. They're really making her like a musical sort of like instrumental based character, but I feel like it's a little bit forced, right? Because just look at her ult animation. Should have been a tacit mark made out of swords. You bring up a good point. Maybe the reason why they didn't want to do it before was because they sort of already did it one time. Over here, you all remember this one? And this was badass though. You know, I don't. You know, I think this is kind of like the issue with Qingxiao is that like a lot of her motifs that would have been really fucking like cool. I feel like some other characters might have like stolen the thunder, pun intended, because she's Electro, right? She might have gotten her thunder stolen by like some other preceding units. You guys get what I'm talking about over here, right? I think they don't want to like cannibalize themselves. That's why they made her so like musically inclined. But man, I do feel like there was some missed potential over here. Maybe that's just me though.
Swords. Purge the realm.
And then the ult is a... The character does seem a little bit confusing. At least the ultimate to me. Because I think this is the best way for me to describe this one. She plays an instrument.
Swords.
Then a giant sword comes down.
Purge the realm.
Then that sword makes a tsunami. That's kind of a lot. I don't really know where the water came from, and I feel like this is where like the water starts getting like a little bit muddied between like her and Cardathea, right? Because Cardathea is like that sort of like arrow water character where like her like Cart having like the water, right, is it's kind of like in lore, it makes sense because it's like the deep, Rinacita, Leviathan. Leviathan's like a water-like being. She's from Rinacita. So like water in Rinacita, it's got islands. You get what I'm talking about, right? The Threnodian's like water-based, so it's like, yes, Cart as the Threnodian Resonator, she's water-based as well. What, like, I guess to me, this character is sort of like stepping on the toes of a lot of like sort of existing units. And I guess the thing is, it's that her motifs seem to be really closely related to other ones. I hope there's like a lore reason or something behind that, right? I hope there's like a lore reason because it does feel like she's stepping on the toes of some pre-existing characters. And guys, I understand why water is related to air. We just have plenty of air characters in this game that don't have anything related to water about them. So it's like every arrow character doesn't need to have water associations, right? And then water is also associated to like Havoc. You get what I'm talking about. Now we got this fun part over here. We got the goodness. Let's check this one out.
Master, what are you? A forfeit without cause.
And so this is the part that's like a little bit interesting. She says master.
What are you? A forfeit without cause. Your master has tasked me with your instruction.
Well, I'm in a bit of a hurry now, so...
So I think the main takeaway is that Qingxiao is not actually Buling's master. I think Qingxiao, like, knows Buling's master. As we all know, she has, like, some, like, weird, like, chi, like, thunder art. She's got, like, something going on. Like, she harnesses the power of, like, some Chinese shit to do what she does. Yeah, and, like, and the only proof you need is, like, what the fuck she's doing here. And she'll do it soon. She'll do it soon. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, she's got, like, yeah, you see that shit? It, like, lit on fire. So, she's obviously, like, meant to be a bit of sort of, like, a flavor lore character for the Mengzhou region. And I'm glad that there's actually, like, this sort of, like, Black Shores person that's, you know, at least somewhat linked to the area. And I think the big thing over here that a lot of people might not fully recognize is that the Master has to probably be related to Rover in some way. Why? Because Buling, when we got introduced to her in the story, right, in Septimont, she was, like, already on the know. She basically already knew who we were as, like, the leader of the Black Shores. So I'm pretty sure her master, to some degree, is, you know, they're going to be a pretty lore-relevant character. So I think the point of view is they're not adding characters for, like, no reason. And considering that this is a 4-star unit, I think that this is something that nobody really saw coming. And when you know that characters like Dan Jin have apparently been getting, like, more exposure, stuff like that, hey, it looks like the 4-star situation might start getting solved as well. Because, as far as I'm concerned, well, we haven't really gotten one since her, so they're at least making sure to give her the proper attention. So, yeah, that's going to be the Combat Showcase this time, ladies and gentlemen. Excited to see what sort of role she's going to have. Maybe they'll have a sort of, like, master-student sort of dynamic, like how Chu Yan had in his trailer. And, I don't know, maybe we get, like, a Buling SP in the future, where she, like, where she's, like, I don't know, more capable or something like that. Because, as far as I'm concerned, we haven't gotten, like, any actual story for her in-game. As of yet, she's just been more of, like, a side supporting one. So it's always good to see some of that extra, some of those extra breakdowns over there. Another big thing that you guys should look out for, just in case you're more interested on this topic, this will be like a shameless plug for another content creator. We'll just take, like, an introductory look at some of his stuff so you can, well, get ready for his video. Fat Fluffy Penguin, it's really hard to say his name sometimes. I feel like I'm gonna say some profanity on accident. Has been really sort of, like, documenting the outerlying... Okay, he's really been documenting, like, the outerlying issue regarding, like, Buling and, like, her master and stuff like that. So, yeah, bro was on, like, a fucking rampage ever since this thing came out. Stuff like, oh, the funny thing is we know, like, 2 things about her actual master. They think Buling is, like, a Taoist souvenir scam artist, but then actually her trinkets, like, work. There's a bunch of stuff going on over here. So make sure you take a look at this guy's stuff as well, because it actually turns out that Kuro Games, ladies and gentlemen, right, they've been doing a lot more than just, like, well, putting Buling in the showcases. They actually did a little bit of, like, that precursory marketing, even on, like, this weapon reveal, where they, like, I don't know, showed this gift from Buling. So maybe this means we're gonna get a new free sword at some point. This could be, like, a teaser that we actually get a new free weapon at some point. Because, like, I don't know why they would put this shit in here, other than it being maybe, like, a clue. Who knows, right? And then you also got, like, this little lore tidbit. I've had the honor of instructing a successor to the Thunder Spell for some time. A glowing night sword, and one that can be used with sword flight. Yeah, we haven't got no night sword yet, so, and as far as I'm concerned, Blood Pack's Pledge is, Blood Pack's Pledge is right here. So that one, yeah, that's the sword that we have. She already knows about that one. So yeah, maybe we'll have, like, some crazy free weapon as a result of this. Whatever the fuck is going on over here. Alright, let's finish this up. Yeah, she's cooked. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this one, ladies and gentlemen. But I do have to say, just, like, as, like, a Combat Showcase sort of, like, pre-release reveal, this is one of the best ones I think we've had in the history of the game. Because it's taken a unit, and I think like an update that people were finding very, very, very either, you know, a little bit unhyped, a little bit disappointing, a little bit sort of like, you know, mellow. And it's added a lot more intrigue to the conversation, a lot more stuff for the community to talk about, and of course, more stuff to actually be hyped for. That'll be it for this one, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you all thought. Peace out.